The scholars, they divided the oneness of Allah into three parts in order to make it easier for us to understand. So when you go to your lay Muslim brother, he's not like the companions, he's not like Abu Bakr. You can't just give him an ayah and he understands everything about that ayah from that, about Tawheed from that one ayah. You have to explain it to him. In order to explain it, the scholars divided Tawheed into how many categories? Three categories. The first category is the oneness of Allah in His Lordship. The oneness of Allah in His Lordship. If you want it, it's called Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. The oneness of Allah in His Lordship. Who can tell me what that means? Does anybody know what Tawheed al-Rububiyyah is? The Lordship of Allah. Yes, Akhi.
Creator, the owner, the control of the world.
In a more summarized way, it means we recognize that Allah is alone in His actions. The things that Allah does, He's alone in that. Does anybody create alongside Allah? Does anybody sustain, send down the rain, give life and give death besides Allah? No. Does anybody control what happens in the creation besides Allah? No. But why is it necessary for us to study such a thing? Because you have people like the Shia who say that the 12 Imams, they control the creation. But if a person understands Tawheed, he says, no, this goes against the first category of Tawheed. How can somebody share in the creation and the command of the creation alongside Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? That means you've set up a partner. That means you have committed shirk with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do we understand? So it's in order to understand. The second category is the oneness of Allah in His names and in His attributes. Tawheed al-Asma'i wa Sifat. The oneness of Allah in His names and in His attributes. Is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like us? A question for you. Is He a man? Does He share our characteristics? Of course, any Muslim is going to say no, Allah is unique. So then, when you see this, and then you see the Christians, and they've painted God in their words as an old man with a beard, then of course you know that this is going against the creed of Al-Islam. When you hear about Isa alayhi salam being the son of God, then you know that this goes against the names and the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Likewise with the names and the attributes of Allah, if somebody said to you, describe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, describe your Lord, the one who created you, the one who you worship, the one who sustains you, describe Him. The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam told us, Allah has 99 names, 100 minus 1. Whoever memorizes them and lives by them, then he will have Jannah. So you want to know about Allah? You have the names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to study, to learn about your Creator subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the third category is Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah or Tawheed al-Ibadah. Makes it easy for you brothers inshaAllah. Tawheed al-Ibadah. And the clue is in the name, that Allah is the only one who we worship.